Good evening and welcome to the Gold Goats and Guns Hour here on YouTube and DLive. My name is Tom Luongo and we've got a lot to talk about tonight. It is May 3rd. It is Friday. We're going to do this for about a little over an hour before we get started. And we're going to talk about something I've been building towards for a long period of time now. And it's something that I think is very important as I review the events of this week. I think there's a common theme that runs through all of them. And it'll be the I think this should be an interesting talk tonight. I certainly hope so. Just so you know, I have a blog over at tomluongo.me. You could read my work on a regular basis over there. It's also, which is then makes its way around the crank world into Zero Hedge and Lou Rockwell and Strategic Culture and various other places, the Duran and other places around the internet. So if you are new to the channel, I hope you like what you hear tonight. And if you do, please give a like and subscribe down below. That would be great. And also click notifications because we do this every Monday night at 8 p.m. and every Friday night at 8:30. You can support the work that I do here via a number of different platforms. You can, all links are in the description down below. You can sign on to the Brave browser and sign up for Brave rewards. This channel is now a verified publisher there. So is the blog over tomluongo.me, as well as you can support my work at Patreon, where you can sign up for the newsletter, or you can just follow me over at Twitter at TFL1728. And if you're so inclined, a PayPal donation or a crypto donation is welcome as well. All right, so let's get on to the topic at hand tonight. I don't have any notes. I do this, as you all know, I do these kind of extemporaneously on Friday nights. We'll do this for about 25 minutes of prepared comments, and then we'll open it up for questions and just have a good old time. If I didn't change the title, it's only because I'm an idiot. Hold on for just a second. There. That'll make its way in. All right. Ready? Let's do it. Tonight's talk is the old political order is old. It's ending. It's going away. And it's very obvious when you look at the events of this week. We've had events all across the spectrum this week, from the failed coup attempt in Venezuela to the FOMC meeting 2 days later, to tomorrow's, supposedly, we're supposed to get the announcement of the great Jared Kushner plan for the Trump's deal, Middle East deal of the century. I don't know if that's actually going to happen or not tomorrow. I haven't heard anything about that. We have a major scandal happening within Theresa May's administration and government in Britain, which has been exposed. That the Gavin Williamson, the now former defense minister, was sacked by May this week for apparently leaking information about how deeply embedded Huawei's UK division's board is run by effectively MI6 and the British government. And that was not supposed to be public news, apparently. So Theresa May sacked him. That's all getting out there. It's all crazy. Oh, and tomorrow's May the 4th be with you. So we got Star Wars Day tomorrow. I think I'll probably sit down and take a little time off, though I really can't. I've got a lot of work to do tomorrow. So when you look around, you see all this. We've got hearings on Capitol Hill, how Attorney General William Barr is being grilled by Democrats because he ruined their plans to impeach Trump for nothing. And they thought they had it. They thought they had created the perfect political honeypot for him to step into, and that Robert Mueller was trying to get Trump impeached on an bogus obstruction of justice charge that would never have could never have flown in any other way other than as an impeachment procedure, because impeachment is not a legal proceeding. It is just a political one. When you factor all these things together, we had the massive outpouring of support in the Czech Republic yesterday. Geert Wilders, Matteo Salvini by television, Marine Le Pen and others all stood side by side and campaigned for the Czech nationalist populist party to raise their the level of coordination and raise their opportunity, their chances in the upcoming European parliamentary elections, which everybody is scared to death of. We have Nigel Farage duking it out with Boris Johnson over control of effectively over control of the quote unquote conservative right in Britain, while Farage continues to upend the political apple cart in the UK. We've got Donald Trump and Bill Barr effectively beginning to open up investigations into the entirety of Russiagate now that it's failed. And I'm going to start here. When we look at all of this stuff, we look at the Federal Reserve, but I want to start with this because I read a very interesting article last night. It was an article by Will Chamberlain over at Human Events, and I don't know if you've seen this or not. It was a stub of it was linked on Zero Hedge. That's where I saw it, and then I clicked on through and read the entire thing, laying out the argument that Donald Trump engaged Bill Barr last summer to derail Mueller's investigation over the interpretation of the obstruction of justice statute, a very technical issue. And the article's fantastic, by the way. I think everybody needs to read it. I don't have a link to it in the description down below yet, but I really should if you haven't seen it. But it's the one that was on Zero Hedge yesterday. Did Trump sandbag, or was Barr the assassin of the Russiagate? And I think he was brought in for this reason and this reason only. And that I could spend 10 minutes kind of going over the timeline that Chamberlain produced, but and it's really important that you read it. It's really important that you understand it, because his basic thesis is that, and he's right, if you read the timeline and you read everything, that Barr was brought in by Trump's legal team to stop Mueller from using the most broad interpretation possible of the Code of Federal Regulations, this particular subsection of this particular statute, that would basically, in all intents and purposes, criminalize any act Donald Trump would take, could be argued would be obstruction of justice of a future investigation against him, which is what they were trying to argue. And that's what they were investigating under, and that's what was going to keep this thing going until next year. There it is. Stoyanovich just linked it in DLive. I'm going to copy the link and put it over here into YouTube's chat as well. That's an article you absolutely all need to read it, because if you understand the course of events that he lays out, and they're anything close to the truth, then there actually is some hope that Trump can salvage something out of the second half of his presidency, now that he's no longer acting under this unbelievable cloud. Now, he's already made, and unfortunately, it looks like to me that by getting Barr to write the legal opinion, and then using him to try and persuade Rod Rosenstein to give up this broad interpretation, because Trump was powerless to stop this, because Jeff Sessions recused himself. That was the big problem, because they couldn't prove collusion, but they could try and play this game of obstruction of justice, which was the plan from the beginning. It was probably Weissman who came up with the strategy, to be honest with you, because that guy's a consummate scumbag. And they got Barr to do this because Barr's really the only guy who could do it, because as a former attorney general, is the only guy that Rosenstein would even give the time of day to. And it seems obvious to me when reading this article that, I'm sure there was a quid pro quo between Trump and Barr, and probably, a fully embracing this insane neoconservative foreign policy is probably part of it. It's probably part of the quid pro quo to get Trump to get Barr to write the legal opinion, which then put him in a position to then have Barr approved as Jeff Sessions' replacement as Attorney General, to then shut down the Mueller investigation, because ultimately Barr's position is, one, right, and two, constitutional, and Mueller's isn't. And Mueller at that point didn't have a legal leg to stand on once the Attorney General said you can't interpret the statute the way you're interpreting it. So if that's what your entire case rests upon, well, ball's in your court at that point. Oh, did Raimondo write something on that, Stoyanovich? I missed it, so I haven't read it that. But it's really interesting that that's what happened. So nice try, France. Go read the article. Nice try. So if that's what happened, that's interesting. If it's not what happened, and some other version of it happened, then some other version of it happened, well, that's also interesting. But if it is, then this actually puts an interesting spin on what could happen going forward, because now we have Trump out from underneath the Russiagate investigation. The Mueller probe is gone. The threat of impeachment is over. Remember, Nancy Pelosi back in February was fighting Trump on every issue imaginable because she knew she had him dead to rights on impeachment. She was acting like she had him dead to rights. And then all of a sudden that dried up. When he nominated Bill Barr for AG, it all changed, because they couldn't stand against him, because how are they going to stand against the consummate insider? What were they going to say? What were they going to do? What was going to be their excuse for voting against him? You don't agree with the Mueller? You don't? What are you going to? You can't say any of this stuff, because they would have had to, like, one, admit that they saw the legal opinion that Barr wrote that was that they wouldn't have been allowed to see in the first place, and that Mueller rejected and then Rosenstein rejected. It's ridiculous. So when you look at it from that perspective, you say, okay, well, that's interesting. Look at what happened here. The deep state went for the full-on coup against Trump and failed. The DNC, the Clintons, MI6, Ukraine, all of it, all of these people were coordinated to try and take down Trump. And now they're done. And all of these Democrats sitting on the Intelligence Committee, or is it the Intelligence Committee, are all like, we don't know what to do now. What are we going to do? How's Cory Booker going to run for president? They don't have anything to run on now. They're done. They know they're done. As a matter of fact, the whiff of utter desperation is there. Biden is in big trouble. Exactly, Stoyanovich. When you look at it from that perspective, and all of a sudden you realize there may be a little bit of life left in Trump. Not a lot, but a little bit. And that would be good. I mean, things are abjectly awful at this point, so we might as well conjecture some good things that could come out of this, because at the very least, here's the situation. Trump is one vindictive motherfucker. That we all know. Barr has already begun the process of subpoenaing and opening up investigations into all of the people that have been implicated in all of this Russiagate stuff. He's already started the process. The political retribution is now going to be biblical. It could wind up being biblical. I don't know that it'll ever reach the level of something like Clinton or Obama or anybody else, but certainly as high as Clapper and Brennan and the rest of them. They could all go to jail. And they may have to do that if they want to maintain any semblance of political order. I've been arguing for 2 years now, or over 2 years, that at some point you have to put Hillary Clinton in jail, at the very least, to restore people's faith that the actual system functions at some level. Because right now, everybody thinks this system doesn't work. It's completely broken. And you can't have a political order and a political institutional order and institutional order around the world. That, and I'm not just talking about, I'm not just talking about parliaments here and legislatures. I'm talking about central banks and the banking system and the military and all of it. Everything, the judiciary, everything has to work. And all of that runs on the confidence that the people have in it. And if the people completely lose all confidence in all of these institutions, guess what? That's when societies completely break down. That's when markets collapse. That's when bond yield curves invert and everybody and credit spreads blow out and liquidity locks up and the whole freaking world goes goddamn haywire and missiles start flying. So at some point, everybody oversteps their bounds. It was interesting. I was listening to Alex and Alex a couple weeks ago, and they were talking about this. Like they were free associated. They said, when was the moment that the oligarchy went too far? And they both agreed that it was the bombing of Serbia under Bill Clinton, NATO's bombing of Serbia under Bill Clinton. And I'm watching everything that happened that's transpired in the last couple of weeks. I'm saying, look at all of these instances of people going too far. The ridiculous coup attempt in Venezuela is laughable in the end. And there's John Bolton trying to blame 25,000 Cuban soldiers. And I mean, how insane does he look at this point by saying something like that? How dumb? How out of touch? How just completely insane does he look by holding on to this narrative? He looks just as insane as Cory Booker and Mazie Hirono at the bar hearings this week. That's how bad they look. And I got news for you. Donald Trump doesn't like to be embarrassed. Do you think he's going to send Bill Barr after the Russiagate conspirators, and he's going to put a bunch of them in jail and, possibly have a couple of them executed as traitor? I think that's possible. I don't think it's going to be anybody important, mind you. It's not going to be Obama or Clinton, both of whom should be executed for treason. But you start to put this together, that's going to happen. But now Bolton and Pompeo have absolutely embarrassed Trump. And what happens 3 days after this failed coup attempt? Trump gets on the phone with Putin for the first time in months. When the hell did that happen? When the hell was that all of a sudden a thing? Trump's hasn't been allowed to talk to Putin in months. John Bolton did all the talking. Mike Pompeo did all the talking. John Huntsman was doing the talking. Trump wasn't allowed to do anything. Another thing to remind you, and I know I talked about this in my live stream, not yesterday. Yeah, it was Wednesday's live stream where I said that apparently John Bolton was in charge of the entire Venezuela operation. He was given complete control by Trump on it, and he fucked it up big time. Bay of fat pigs, for Christ's sake. So, dude, the story. So at some point, people overstep their bounds. And they're done. Now, the QAnon crowd and the praying medic and all those fucking weirdos would say, oh, I know that it was Putin and Trump and they concocted this 4D chess plan to get Bolton to overcommit in Venezuela. And then, okay, whatever, fine. It came to me in a dream. Big pain in the ass. So, the Trump plantation, dude, I left the Trump plantation like a year ago. What the fuck are you talking about? WDM says, if there's no confidence in democracy, then maybe people will seek an autocrat. And at the end of, well, that's the other worry, of course, at this point. So, again, Trump has to set Bill Barr in motion. He has to start putting people in jail. He has to start indicting people. And at some point, I'm telling you, the oligarchy, to restore people's confidence and trust, they're going to have to give up Hillary Clinton. She's not going to skate on this. I'm telling you. And then to see Facebook come out and do what they did. Again, in light of the fact that every day Facebook loses users, and it's one privacy scandal after another, after another, after another, after another. And now they're gonna, start a $1 billion Facebook coin or some stupid shit to get into crypto and blockchain. So it's all just it's going to start unraveling here for all of them as very quickly as well. Same thing with Google. This is why things like the Brave browser and all these crypto projects that allow people to start disintermediating these platforms and get content creators like myself and y'all linked together more closely and cutting the advertisers out of the middle and cutting the platform managers out of the middle. Because again, this is something that I've said many, many, many times. I've written a number of articles on this concept of the wire. And the wire is that which we transmit communication across, and it's all sorts of things with the wire. But I mean that in capital T, capital W, the wire. And we exist in this weird age right now where we got rid of having control of the wire. The internet changed business models of all types of wire-related businesses, crushed old businesses left and right, telecommunications and television and advertising and supply chain management, all sorts of things that were there before. Now, all these barriers and all these inefficiencies that were there, and the internet crushed all those. But then, and it was an open platform for communication and for information dissemination. And the first thing they did was try and get control of it again. And Facebook is absolutely part of that. So is Twitter. So is Apple and Google and the app stores and all of this stuff. They were all encouraged to grow the way they did. And then so that, like Frank Zappa always said, you're going to be allowed to believe you have freedom of speech and freedom of movement and all these freedoms we're supposed to enjoy until the moment comes when they shut the doors, reveal the curtains, and there's only a brick wall and you can't get out. So, you have to realize that that's where we are. Microsoft is absolutely a part of this as well. So, you have to realize that a lot of what's happening here is a rejection of the old political order, and we're in this very weird time where now that they've unmasked themselves and now that they've come out from behind the curtain, they said, look, we're in charge, like it or not, and we're going to do this, and we're going to unplatform you, and we're going to deperson you, we're going to do this, and there's not a fucking thing you can do about it, so just shut up and drink your soy milk and fuck off. And sit in the corner and don't say anything bad, or we'll take you off, or we're going to remove your ability to make a living. Yeah, fuck a whole lot of that. That is not what's going to happen here. But they're doing that, and they're not doing it because they're so in control. They're doing it because they don't have any other choice. Because if they don't do something, they're going to lose complete control. I agree with you, Tone Look, that boomers are never going to leave Facebook, but boomers are dying out at a pretty, they're going to be dying out here, so don't worry about them. They're also not the ones with all the disposable wealth. It's not like all these boomers that are retiring have more than $48,000 in their fucking 401ks. So, good luck with that when they still have 2 mortgages on their fucking homes because they sent all their kids to fucking liberal indoctrination camps for $200,000. I just love it. But at the end of the day, the technocratic totalitarianism, as Totalitarian TV just put it, it's not going to work. The technology will beat you. The technology will always beat controls. Always win. And the more I look at this stuff, and I've been a champion of this on and off. We haven't talked a lot about crypto and this stuff in the last 18 months because it hasn't been terribly interesting. But you have to understand that not all of these crypto projects are full of shit. They understand the power of the ability to disintermediate between content producers and content consumers, no matter what they are, and to get that out of the public. And there's been a lot of different attempts to create platforms to do that and create the right incentives for it. But I'm telling you right now, it's about the advertisers. It's about the value of these advertisers. Look, Google's earnings report was a horror show, relatively speaking. You want to know why? It's for exactly what we've been talking about. We've been saying on and off for a long time now, which is that the advertising revenue is beginning to dry up. A lot of companies are questioning all of these freaking AdWords spends where they're buying their own freaking company's name, for Christ's sake, and paying Google to make sure that they're at the top of the list for their own fucking name. That's how perverse Google's incentive structure is. They're, you know, it's almost like the freaking mafia, for Christ's sake. Well, you know, you might not actually show up in your own search results unless, you know, a little money changes hands. You know how that, you know how it works. It's everybody's gonna win here. You know, a little grease makes everything go smoothly, right? Come on, this is effectively what Google's doing, because some jackass, some competitor can go in and buy Google AdWords on your fucking name, on your brand name, and get higher in the search results than you do. Go do yourself a quick search on things like, especially it's really bad on Bing, by the way, where you go search for like Strategic Culture Foundation or any of the like alternative sites, and they'll show up like 4th or 5th on their own list, because they're obviously not buying their own name on AdWords. And other people are like sliding in to get above them in the search results. It's ridiculous. Google's products aren't very good anymore. They've been resting on their laurels for quite a long time. Yeah. Nice website you got there. Shame if nobody, used it. Right. Exactly, Tactless Wookie. I love it. Great job. Great comment. So, and you gotta remember that we're at that moment now. They've pulled back the curtains. There's a brick wall. There's no exit sign. And every one of us has to get... I've been emotionally and I've been trying to emotionally and psychologically prepare you for this day. But this day is here. The old institutional order is breaking down. It's right in front of us. The sovereign debt crisis is right in front of us. The dollar liquidity trap is here. Okay? Google's starting to lose ad revenue. That's why people are getting demonetized. They're not demonetizing people, not demonetizing everybody for political reasons. They're demonetizing a lot of people for political reasons, but a lot of it is just that the pie is starting to shrink. And a lot of advertisers don't want to, they don't want to advertise on some, foul-mouthed, screaming Italian channel. Great. I get it. I understand that. I've been dealing with that shit my entire life. It's fine. I understand it. Some of my favorite television shows of all time have been canceled early because they attracted the wrong audience. It is what it is. It's annoying, but it's what it is. So I've been watching this crypto space, and I'm telling you, it's time to get rid of your local currency liabilities as much as possible. It's now time to get serious, because they're going to accelerate this. I don't know that they're going to come after me anytime soon or anything else, but why take the chance? Why wait for the catastrophe to hit you and not be prepared for it? Because if the old institutional order is truly breaking down, then they're going to change all the rules overnight. And then you're not going to be able to figure out ways to get out of the system. I mean, they've been walling off, as an American, they've been walling off the crypto space to us for a long time now to ensure that, everybody is KYC and AML compliant, that, they have all of your freaking information. They have a copy of your fucking driver's license, for Christ's sake, and all of this shit to ensure that they know exactly who you are. So, internet advertising is useless. And the thing about it is, Stoyanovich, is that it's beyond intrusive. It's actually a waste of our time. One of the cool things about Brave that I've been noticing, I've been playing with it now for a week, and the only reason I actually made the plunge is because one of the regular listeners or regular watchers of this channel sent me a donation and said, dude, if you want this donation that I've sent to you, go get signed up and go claim it, because otherwise you're not going to get it. I mean, I don't know about you, but someone saying, I'm sending you money. What am I going to do? Say no? So did the work, looked at it and went, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And I started to do do the work and started to like make my way through it. And it makes sense to me. And I'm telling you something, I've been looking at this stuff for a while now. And, it's time to start trying to figure out how you can disconnect yourself from their system, because it's the money that is the backbone to all their power. The ability to create and then rehypothecate dollars at will, to bomb markets, to create uncertainty and to create instability, to pay for wars, to pay for mercenaries, to pay for billions in advertising and media time and bandwidth and all this shit that they don't deserve. The deficits spend us into freaking our grandchildren in the debtor's prison and the rest of it. It all comes from their ability to be able to make money on money and to be able to print money at will. No Mouse, it does work pretty well. There's some sites that I found that don't work quite that well, quite perfectly, but that's okay. I don't mind having two browsers. I've had two browsers ever since I moved away from Firefox. I've always had Firefox and then Internet Explorer as a backup, or recently it's been Opera and Edge as my backup. But I still use Opera for certain things, and I still use Brave for a great number of things. But what I like about Brave, and this is the interesting part about this, and I don't want to go on to 20 minutes about this or anything, but it's really important to understand the way Brave makes it work is this. It says, look, we're just going to stop all tracking of your data, all of it. We're going to make sure that no trackers get through, no ads get through, no nothing. We're gonna drop your bandwidth usage like a rock, and we're gonna save you time. And every time you open up a new browser window or you open up a new tab, it always tells you how many of everything they've stopped and how much time they've saved you, right? So that if you opt into the rewards program where you get to be served ads on an ad hoc basis, all puns intended, that you can choose to view an ad or not. But it's your choice. You click on the little notification and look at an ad. You interact with it or not or whatever, and they'll pay you a certain amount of the money that the advertiser put into their budget on a per click basis. You get paid the lion's share of the revenue. Brave gets the rest of it. Everybody wins. And then you earn crypto with which you can use to tip people like me, tip people like whoever you want, you want to support. You can set up monthly recurring donations if you want. You can just fund your account with dollars if you want, and you can do it however you want. Or you can earn by opting into an ad every once in a while at your leisure and at your time. Or you can convert the things out to dollars or bitcoins or whatever you're going to do and start building a portfolio. And if you're weirded out about crypto or anything at this point, these are the ways you can get into it, all of this in a way that doesn't cost you anything except a little bit of time to learn something. Open up a wallet, all the basics. Learn about private keys and all of that crap. Yeah, I stopped using Firefox when it was revealed that it was an MI6 tool as well. Absolutely. So now that's interesting. I'm going to start looking at some of the comments. We got a lot of people in we got nearly 70 people over in YouTube. I'm not sure how many people are concurrent over on DLive. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that are happening right now in the space. Like Gab Dissenter is really interesting. You know what I mean? So. Right, Mark Damon, this is the point. Who cares? I like YouTube because I get to listen to different points of view. However, if it becomes one point of view, then it dies. This is the problem. And they're trying to make this such that it is just one point of view. There's a reason why on a regular basis, I still do this. I don't monetize my YouTube channel on purpose. I want you to monetize. If you want to support my work here and my time on YouTube and on, or my time doing this kind of work, I don't want you to feed the Google beast. I want to actually use Google for my purposes and for our purposes. So, you know, I'd rather be a loss leader. It means that's why there's no super chats. That's why I haven't monetized the channel. It's why I don't want to have a Google AdWords account. I'm tired of this crap. I don't need this shit. Okay, if you know, there's alternate ways of doing this. You've got Brave, you've got DLive, you've got PayPal, you've got Patreon, you've got, you know, crypto, direct crypto. You've got any number of ways if you want to do something. I'm not just talking about me here. I'm talking about everybody. Okay, so they have now set up themselves not just as the gatekeeper, Stoyanovich, but as the on-ramps to everything. You know, if you don't have a digital presence, you don't have a life in this society. And this is like this Black Mirror shit. And, you know, so I do want you to keep using DLive if you want to. Please do. Or you can choose not to. I don't care. I'm giving you options, Squirrel. You choose whatever platform you're comfortable with. If you think DLive is crap, well, that's fine. I've given you another option through Brave. Okay? Or again, however you want to do it. I'm you know, my goal and my job should be to give you as many options as possible so that you feel comfortable. And, you know, and if there's an option that I haven't presented to you, well, let me know what that is. Let me know in the comments, send me an email, send me a DM on Twitter. I don't care. I'm open to, you know, I'm open to all that stuff, because at the end of the day, that's the only way this is gonna fly. Because when I see stuff like MasterCard is setting up a human rights advocacy group due to leftist pressure to try and keep people from getting their payments processed because they hold the wrong fucking opinions, and the SEC said, yeah, that's okay. I'm not playing fucking games anymore. Okay? I'm just not playing fucking games. So, yes, DLive is an easy intro into crypto and self-directed funding. I think so is Brave as well. It's right there in your browser. There's a little thing right up at the top of the search bar. You click on it. If the person's a verified publisher, you can, you know, what do you call it? You can donate to them right then and there. You can tip them immediately or not. You can set up a recurring thing. I don't care. Whatever. You know, these things are important. Yeah, they pay you. So the way DLive works, and it doesn't happen on the website. The website doesn't have this integration yet, but on the app. So if you're watching this on your DLive app on your phone or your tablet or whatever, there's a little treasure chest that's got a little marker, that's got a little meter, and once the meter fills, you click the treasure chest or get some Lino, and then you set up a Lino account, which is vaguely a crypto. It's all vaguely crypto. It's not very crypto. It's really a utility token. And you'll get points, and you can store them up, and then you can, you know, you'll get points for watching, or commenting, or, you know, producing, you know, whatever. And you know, I get 91% of the donation. The other 9% goes into a general rewards pool for all content creators, which I'll see a royalty off of over the course of the life of the stream. And so that's that. DLive is really new. I think they're still really, for all intents and purposes, in beta. So, you know, if it's not fully functional at this point, fine. It doesn't matter. I'm going to try it and work with it for as long as I can. If they're functional, if they've got a business model that's sustainable, we'll find out in the next 6 months. And if it doesn't work, then we'll move on to something else. And, you know, and I'll pull my money out of the platform, and I'll still get my donations, and everything's good. Okay? So SD Taylor says that his buddy works for a paper company. He was telling me how direct mail is coming back because people have become immune to online ads. Oh, I agree with that. That's really good information. Thank you. And yes, Umpire's Post, decentralization is the key. Take away their money, and they lose power and influence. In the current system, lenders equal slave masters. Exactly. So, you know, guys, it's really simple. You know, the work that we do here, and I think, and I look, and here's the thing. It's not just me here, right? I mean, I'm out here, figurehead, organizing the troops, whatever, however you want to put it. It's a community. You guys show up every Monday night at 8 and every Friday night at 8:30. You show up during the week and on the weekends when I do one of these things. You know, I can't tell you how, even though the channel's small and even though there may only be maybe 100 people watching, I'm still amazed that 100 people are willing to sit here and listen to me fucking rant into a microphone. It doesn't make, you know, I don't get it. Because I don't have the patience to listen to other people rant into a fucking microphone, to be honest with you. I'm too busy creating content as part of the problem. But if you want that to be sustainable, which for the most part for us right now, I am stable and it's great. So I'm not like poor mouthing it here. I need to raise $50 because, you know, no, I'm just saying at the end of the day, it's like everything else. If you want it to be sustainable, if you believe in that process, then the money you used to spend, the time you would spend to support me, all the barriers they put up between us to be able to communicate with one another, if we can disintermediate that, then the barrier to you know, giving of your hard-earned dollars to support people becomes a lot easier. And if you can earn a little bit along the way, and as you know, as DLive has got you know, get some points as you go along, you donate them to the stream, I greatly appreciate it. All of that stuff. Same thing with Brave. You click on an ad, you'll get yourself a couple of pennies. After the end of, you know, a week or two, you'll have a couple of bucks. You make 10 or 15 bucks a month. And you can do it. You know, normal browsing habits, you can easily put together. I've already earned, I think, I don't know, $3 or $4 this week, just serving ads as they come up. And the ads only come up on one computer out of all the computers in my house. Whatever, it's a couple of dollars. But I'm going to use those. I'm going to use those early rewards and some of the donations that I've gotten from very generous people. And I'm going to go ping people who are not registered with Brave and do exactly what my follower did to get me started, which is I'm going to make them a donation and I'm going to put a comment in one of their YouTube videos and go, dude, I just sent you money. Go claim it. But to claim it, you're going to have to do this. And you need to start looking at how you can make more, how you can help, how you're going to let us help you. Right? So. I know it's not the ranting. It's a good source of, I know it's humility, but you guys have to realize that I have an incredibly massive ego, okay? I complain about guys like Elon Musk and whatnot, but at the same time, I'm still like, fuck are you guys doing? Okay. Like, really? You really want to listen to this shit? Okay, well, here we go. So, I am a capitalist. I am a true capitalist in every sense of the word, Mark Bogosian. And the reason for that is because I believe that's the only way we are going to, it's the only model that is truly sustainable. Capitalism, the voluntary exchange of goods and services, as I've defined it. Sorry if you don't like that definition. If you don't like that definition, go scratch. I don't give a shit. Go watch somebody else's channel. That's my definition of it. It's just a voluntary exchange of goods and services. And all the things that come from that. And the respecting of individual rights of rights holders to form organizations ad hoc, however they see fit to serve their needs. That is what capitalism is. Okay? That is the only system that aligns buyers and sellers in a way that is truly sustainable, because everybody gets accurate information about the other one's needs to allow the transaction to go forward. If in a voluntary transaction, always everybody wins. At that moment in time, both people thought it was the right thing to do to make that trade. That's all you can do. You may have buyer's remorse later on, but with more information, that's the way things are. We live in a world of imperfect information. The best we can do is to transmit that information, is to act on the best information we have, the best way we know how, and take our chances on the future. There are no guarantees in this life. Okay? Everything's for sale, and high bid wins. Let's see. DevPav says, I'm pretty sure Trump's Treasury Secretary has the power to stop MasterCard's political extortion with a single memo. I'm sure he does too, but DevPav, don't you think that a fucking vampire squid asshole like Steve Mnuchin wouldn't cheer the SEC on for that one? That's my problem. Hello. Please explain legal tender laws versus crypto. Okay, well, Legal tender laws say that flat out, this is the currency that is of the government, that the government will accept as legal tender, right? For all debts, public and private. Now, that does not mean that other currencies cannot circulate concurrently. It means that the government won't accept any other currency for what it does. Taxes, user fees, this, that. Anytime you interact with the government, you have to use their currency, right? They can, and everything is referenced, and all the laws are written referenced to those laws, right? So, for example, now crypto has not been considered a currency. It's been stated by the SEC and by the Treasury Department both as they've considered it a commodity. It's not a currency. It's not a money. The EU has called it a currency, but here in the United States, it's a commodity. So it's subject to different capital gains taxes, if I remember correctly. But again, none of this is investment advice, and it's all just the ranting of some guy here on the internet. Please do your own due diligence. Blah 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 blah. I don't have a Series 6. I don't have a Series 7. I'm not SEC certified in any way. I'm just some asshole on the internet with an opinion. Please do your own due diligence and consult your financial professional as you would normally. All right, so what crypto does, crypto, gold, washing machines, goats, whatever you guys are going to trade is effectively barter. Now, the dollar value of that barter is still subject to U.S. taxation. So, there it is. But at the end of the day, it's not legal tender, and it will likely not be. Though some states have been effectively making it legal tender for state debts, and they've been, and they've been very progressive in that sense on it. I think that's actually really quite cool. Oh, I know you say that as a compliment, Mark. Oh, Mark saying that he called me a capitalist, saying that as a compliment. I know that. I took it as a compliment. Tom, you're a capitalist. Well, thank you. I just remind everybody what I actually mean when I say that. That was not me being defensive. That was me embracing all of my capitalist, inner capitalist. Absolutely. Walk around like Caesar Milan. I am a capitalist. Fuck you. Okay. So, I mean, yeah. So, absolutely. So Down with Data says, I often get far better info from some asshole on the internet than my quote unquote financial professional, unquote. I'll agree with you there. I don't. Yeah. I know. And it's really sad. Good evening, MMA Port. How are you? So, Standard Dev just donated an ice cream to the swear jar. The Gold Goats and Guns swear jar. Expanding exponentially. 12 cents at a time. All right. Gotta love it. I absolutely adore seeing it come through. All right. So what else do we want to talk about tonight? I got about 12 to 15 minutes left. But to tie this all back together in a nice little neat bow, and tie this up in a nice neat little bow to remind you that as these systems fail, they're going to get more aggressive, which is why we're seeing what we're seeing now. But we can see how sclerotic and how inept all of these people are. They have power, but they wield it like in the most ham-fisted way I've ever seen. There's no precision here. There's just blunt instruments. And guys like Putin and others they're just shaking their heads going, fuck are you doing? Yeah, I saw that Germany dumped the F-35s. I thought that was funny. I don't think there's going to be a market for the F-35 at all by the time they're done. What's my prediction for the upcoming EU elections? I think Eurosceptics will take probably around 35 to 37% of the vote. I think the voter turnout's going to be amongst European integrationists is going to be low, and I think that the populists are going to be energized, and that's why we'll see probably somewhere close to a 5 to 6 point upside surprise over current polling, which has it around 30 to 32%. I could be wrong, certainly, but that's my feel. Wow, 80 people on YouTube concurrently right now. That's unbelievable. So do you read much on this Thierry Baudet fellow? No, I haven't. I don't even know who he is. But I think it's going to be very interesting. I think that they may wind up being the largest singular block within the European Parliament. I don't know that will actually get them what they want, which is to be able to get the European Commission presidency, because I think all the other groups will coalesce around the European People's Party. Maybe not, to protect their own, but it's going to be very interesting. Down with Data says the Tory and Labour took a bloodbath in the local council elections. Yeah, I didn't actually have a chance to follow up very much on that, but I was talking to, as a matter of fact, I did I recorded a segment this morning with Crypto Rich, who's also a regular of the channel now, who invited me to do a series of videos. We're going to be doing a series of vids on crypto. And we did a 1 hour chat this morning. We're going to do a variety of these things over the course of the next few weeks. Rich is a really nice guy. He's if you haven't followed his channel, you should. He's got a good, cool channel on crypto. He's just outside of London. He's of Pakistani descent. Very cool guy. A narco-Marxist as opposed to me, a narco-capitalist. But really, at the end of the day, we agree on almost everything except how to get where we want to go. But we agree that we absolutely agree on where we want to go. So it's really a very good time. But he was telling me that he had a real hard time having to vote for Labor because he understood in his council election, because he knew that he only had 3 choices and they all sucked: Tory, Labor, or Green. He didn't even have Lib Dem. I've heard a lot of people just had a real hard time with this, and so it's going to be very interesting to see how these things go forward. All right. Good evening, Cube Dog. How are you, dude? Prediction for the 2020 DNC primary. The DNC wants Joe Biden, and they want Joe Biden for continuity purposes. They don't think he can beat Trump. I think they've already ceded the fact that they can't win the election unless they're going to steal it. And if they are going to steal it, they want it to be in the hands of somebody who is loyal to the DNC first and to the order first, as they try to fend off the insurgency from Cenk Uygur, Zach Exley, and the Justice Democrats. And I think that's the situation. So I'm going to bet on Biden, and I'm going to bet that all the minor people like Elizabeth Warren and the rest of them will try and push Sanders farther and farther left to try and isolate him into a smaller and smaller corner of the electorate so that he loses the primary. That's what I think. That's what I see happening right now. I don't see I haven't seen any change in that at all. Have you seen the riots in Honduras? They're burning government buildings too. I have not seen that. I am not surprised. Honduras has been a mess since Hillary fomented a coup back in 2013. I have not been following it at all, though. So anything you want to, any information anybody wants to send me on what's going on in Honduras, I'll be happy to take it. You can again email, Twitter, whatever. Comments below this video, because I get all the comment notifications via email from YouTube, so I get them all day long. I try to respond to as many of them as I can. Tom, do you think Trump will go after Ukrainian authorities for their role in the Russiagate hoax? I think it's very possible that there's some rapprochement between Trump and Putin, which will then de-escalate the situation in Ukraine. And if Trump gives Zelensky the what for, we could have a rapid de-escalation in Ukraine, especially if Trump fires Bolton. And with the fiasco in Venezuela this week, and Bolton trying to effectively lay that off, is going to try and lay that off on Trump. And they're trying to hang Trump with this. I don't know that I don't know what will happen here is whether or not Trump will actually fight back or not. We'll find out. I don't know. He's been a massive disappointment. I hope that he will do the right thing. Some of the things that I've seen in the last couple of days since the coup in Venezuela have given me hope that there's still some fight left in, there's still some fight left in the guy. But I'm not holding my breath. I'm just not. So, Thomas, Tom Patrick Vidian asked me, Tom, give us your guess as to when U.S. equities are going to fall off a cliff. I fancy about March 2021, which will make 12 years for the secular bull. I don't have I refuse to answer a question like that because I don't really that close. I want to say sometime in 2021 is perfectly reasonable. It could be for Q1, it could be Q2, it could be Q3. It all depends on how things work out. I know what Martin Armstrong's timing cycles are talking about and when the shifts in his economic confidence model happen. I know all of that stuff. I discount a lot of that information. By the way, we're up to 85 people on YouTube, which is close to, I think, the record. I think we had 90 once. So come on, people, you got 5 minutes. Just to break records because records are cool. But I would say that it all depends on how long they forestall the sovereign debt crisis in Europe. If it unfolds by the end of this month, then yeah, March 2021 is as good a guess as anybody's. Leper wedding is off. Deutsche Bank and Commerzbank thinking each other are too ugly. Rick Farmer has a way with words, I have to say. The bloodbath was in voter turnout for UK local council elections. Incredibly low turnout, much higher spoiled ballot papers, indicative of a very unhappy populace. Not surprised by any of that. Let's pop on back over to DLive and see if I've missed anything good over there. The Tory, just to follow up on that point, yeah, the Tory donor basis is they're giving their money to Nigel Farage. Chunk yogurt can go pound sand. I like Chunk Wigger, but yeah, chunk yogurt works pretty well as well. Nice tactless Wookie. Joe Biden is up to his neck in the Ukraine DNC mess. They want him in to cover their tracks. Exactly. It's not going to work because Trump is going to expose the whole thing. Again, this is where we have to find out whether or not Trump has any real stones or not. Because he's surrounded on all sides by people who are trying to not let this thing actually get completely out of the bag. And they've done such a great job of gaslighting everybody into thinking that Vladimir Putin is the fucking evil oligarch of the planet. She's not. It really does limit what Trump can actually do, thanks to the way the media has walled itself off. Now, that being said, there's still plenty of people out there who want to see Trump and Putin sit down and de-escalate all of this. So, not sure many people notice the Su-57 has one detail that all Russian fighters have. Big landing wheels for unprepared fields. Yep. I would love to see both Bolton and Pompeo fired. Obviously, I'd like to see Elliot Abrams exit the scene as well. Don't be surprised to see if Andrew Yang does better than expected initial primaries. He's quietly been riding along with truckers and stuff like that. Okay. I think it's possible. I think, if Justin Raimondo is saying things along the lines of that Bolton and Pompeo could easily get fired here, he's got I learned a lot at Justin Raimondo's knee over the last 20 years. I wouldn't be half the geopolitical analyst or political analyst that I am today if not for Justin Raimondo. That he's dying of lung cancer is, and I love the fact that the guy is still kicking. I love the fact that he's still fighting. It pains me to know how hard it's been on him, and and he's one of our great political voices of the last generation, and he's done with mostly with no thanks. So, he's an astute guy. So, if he's saying that, then there's a real distinct possibility of it as well. Though he has been kind of keeping the rose-colored glasses on about Trump a little too long. But I guess, you know, what else are you going to do? But when Justin dies, it will be heartbreaking. I will cry a lot. Okay. I've never met him. I've never spoken to him directly other than on Twitter. But I've told him multiple times what I think. So. All right. I'm wondering if the market is going to have a little tantrum here to get lower rates. Maybe. Standard def. It's possible. But the Fed's going to lower rates. Don't worry about that. Hello, I am new here on the channel. Well, good evening, 9-year-old Arnie. How are you? I swear like a sailor. We do high-level geopolitics, finance, culture, all that kind of stuff. So it's a political channel. I make no bones about it. That's why I've pushed it off into this corner of DLive. If you want to stick around, please do. So the Canadian Prime Minister has been really quiet. Well, you know, he's useless. So why do you think UKIP lost so many seats, Franz? This is exactly what Nigel Farage is saying. They don't have an election strategy that's a winning that's capable of winning with the British electorate, whether they're right or wrong. So, all right. No windowless vans here. No Joe Biden's either. Hey. Yeah. Trudeau is absolutely dead prime minister walking at this point. So many of them are. Again, yes, standard def, and absolutely we have a swear tip jar here on Gold Goats and Guns. So, you know, and it's usually an ice cream. So 12 cents. All right. SD Taylor said, I submitted your name for the open Fed seat. Oh, that would be rich. Do you imagine me on the FOMC committee? In the FOMC? Could you imagine that conversation? Hi, Elva Carol. Hi, Tom. Did you see the Guy Verhofstadt unironically referred to the EU as the empire for good or some similar bullshit? Well, that's because he believes it. I mean, look, Farage is right when he says these people are ideologues. They have an agenda. They don't want it messed with, and they're just going forward. And they're not listening to anybody else. They are dyed-in-the-wool freaking. They don't understand. They don't believe they're Marxists, but they are Marxists. And, so, but yeah, it's. I'm not surprised, you know. And Verhofstadt doesn't want people like Farage getting in the way of his, you know, grand plans for the European people. It's just the way it is. Why are they resisting the Fed nomination so fiercely? Because Trump keeps trying to put people in there who don't toe the Goldman Sachs party line. Trump keeps trying to put people in there who are not part of the Wall Street banker boys. You know, they want JP Morgan assets. They want Goldman Sachs assets in there. They don't want Herman Cain. They don't want Stephen Cohen. Or not Stephen Cohen, Stephen, whatever his name is. The leader of the EU will be called the Good Führer. Yeah, I know. It's like, you know, it's the EU SSR, right? And they're the new Politburo. That's the problem, Spencer. Spencer brings up this, saying back to somebody else that Trudeau's party is behind in the polls, and in provincial elections have been disastrous for the leftists in Canada. The problem is the Conservatives aren't worth anything either. It's the same problem we have here in the United States. The same thing that they found out that they have in Britain, which is the Tories and Labour are two wings of the same bird of prey, and it's not really. Oh, we passed 91, and that's the problem. And so now what do? The only way to get real and substantive change is to do what Nigel Farage is doing, which is to realign the entire process around a different issue, and to take the current political polar divide and shift it completely. So it's no longer about left versus right. It's now populism or sovereigntism versus integrationism. Okay. I always get that. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so that's the important part. There you go. All right, guys, it's an hour and 5 minutes, and I'd like to see my wife before she goes to bed. So, sounds like a stream. Will Zelensky be more? One last question: will Zelensky be more friendly to Russia in Ukraine? Maybe. It's possible. I hope it's possible. The early returns have not been good, but he's in a very, very complicated situation. So I'll leave it at that. But I think that the sooner he sits down and talks to Putin, and the sooner Trump gives him his marching orders, which are not given to him by John Huntsman or John Bolton, Pompeo, and the rest of the State Department, if it's given to him by Trump, things could change. All right, you guys take care. It's been a great evening. Really enjoyed it as always. You guys are the best audience on the internet, on YouTube and DLive. And as always, if you're new to it, click the like and subscribe button. Subscribe here on DLive. We do need about another 30 people to hit the 200 person mark on DLive. So even if you're not interested in watching the stream on DLive, if you could make an account and follow so I can get to the next level of supporter or a producer, that would really help. I think that would help the channel as well. So do that. Install Brave. I've got a referral code down below. I'll get paid a little bit of BAT token if you sign up through the referral thing. It's right down below, and the link to all the ways you can support the channel here. And check it out and tell me what you think. And we'll talk about it sometime in the future. And you can look for what I'm doing with Crypto Rich. We'll probably have the first one out sometime this weekend. So you guys take care. You be well. Enjoy your weekend. If I don't talk to you, keep your stick on the ice.